And hello, my friends. Yeah, it's Tino here, and I believe my game is way too loud here for you to be able to hear me, so let's go ahead and do a little mix-a-tondo. That's better. That's more like it. So yeah, hi guys, it's Tino here to do a little bit of retro games that you should play. And you might be able to tell already, just by the menu that we're looking at here, I'm going to play some Final Fantasy XII. This game was unfortunately overlooked due to its release time, particularly because it came out on the PS2 sort of after the 360 and the PS3 were released. So it definitely got overshadowed by quite a few different games. But that being said, it is absolutely worth your time in checking out. My character is pretty far along here, and basically the whole reason that I jumped in here is just to give you a little taste of how the game works, how the game is played, what kind of interesting stuff you can expect, and yada yada yada. So before I get too far ahead of myself here, one of the things I want to talk about is the gambit system. So this is essentially how you define the behaviors for your characters, and I like to use Vaughn, Baltier, and Bosch as my main party members. So I won't go too far into detail here, but basically you can control each person's priorities in a battle. So basically Bosch will, essentially, the first thing he's going to do is cast Decoy on himself. Decoy is almost like, it's almost like Taunt. It's essentially the tanking spell for the game. Your tank wants to have Decoy up at all times, because then he'll be focused by pretty much all the enemies exclusively. Now, some of these other gambits are a little bit less self-explanatory, but they shouldn't be too hard to figure out. Obviously, I want to have him targeting whatever enemies are nearby. If his HP gets a little low, he'll heal himself. If a teammate gets knocked down, he'll use the Phoenix Down. If somebody gets silenced, yada 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 yada. And apparently I have Libra on. And I cannot explain why I have Libra on. I'm actually going to turn it off because it's not necessary at the moment. But yeah, so Baltier and Vaughn are my two damage dealers. So basically there's a whole big long list of stuff to keep my main party member, my main guy, constantly with Decoy, Shell, Protect. And between the two of them, they should do a pretty decent job of keeping each other, or keeping my tank guy under control. And then after that, they both kind of just go to an attack command. The way I have my party set up at the moment is I focus a lot on physical damage dealing, which is not the it's not necessarily the right or wrong way to do it, but it is definitely a unique way to play it. Part of the reason I like to do this is because I picked up the Genji gloves, I think, or I got the Genji something. I don't remember which Genji piece I got. Yes, so I have the gloves, which means that basically whenever Vaughn is using a katana or something of that nature, he will do quite a bit of comboing, which is really nice. Now, for some reason, I thought I had... Aha! Yes, the Masamune. Yeah, I want to give him that, because Masamune, the katana-type enemies, will do quite a bit of damage. Quite a bit. I'm going to keep him with a one-hand just for now, just so we can fool around a little bit here. Alright, so let me go ahead and give you guys a taste of what the battle system looks like. So we're going to sneak up over here, and this is going to take me to almost like the world map, so to speak, give or take, if you will, and if you won't. And if you won't, then I don't like you. I lied, I do like you. It doesn't matter what you say. So part of the reason I think I have Libra on this guy is because that thing that I'm looking at right here is a trap, and the last thing you need is to get savaged by it. So, the cool thing about the battle system I don't know if you noticed, but I really don't need to issue commands to my party members as long as my gambits are set up properly. Also, I mean, this is like my max character file. Everybody is level 99. I've got almost full mischarges for just about every character. And it's pretty cool. But at any point in time, you can hit the X button, and that'll let you bring up this sort of pause menu. And you can use any of the magics that your characters have available. You can basically queue them up. One of the things that is cool is these. Underneath the MP bar, you'll see the glowing segments. These are called mischarges. Mischarges essentially let you summon. So I have like quite a few different summons I could choose from. Personally, I think XII is one of the best ones, so I'm just going to show you what he looks like real quick. Yes. One of the reasons I like XII so much is because he deals lots of terrible status effects. So if you've got a good melee damage-dealing party member, XII and him combined together will just devastate regular enemies in an area. So let me just give you a little taste of that. So he's basically going to immediately start wailing on these things and pretty much insta-hit them, which is really cool. I'm not in a particularly difficult area. Oh, I'm totally attacking the fire elemental, there's no doubt. Ha-chow! Ha-chow! And XII should do malaise or something. Oh no, he healed himself. Excellent. Excellente. Ooh, what do we have in here? Treasure? Hi, Ether. That's kind of cool. Okay, so let's quickly sneak up over this way so we can fight a couple of more fools here. Now, unfortunately, in this game, the way that flying characters work is you cannot damage them with melee attacks. So, regardless of what I do, until I equip a ranged weapon on my character, he basically cannot hit anything that's in the air. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to change his equipment. So basically what you need to do is hit up the old black magic. And wind damage, as we know, does tons of homage to flying enemies. Let's see if we can't do a little bit of wind damage, and he died. Fantastic. So another cool thing about the summons in this game, as you can see, is that he kind of follows me around. And essentially he's got like a timer going. And he'll stay with me for, you know, a decent chunk of time. But basically enough that he is totally worth summoning pretty much at all times. Come on, do one of your things. Yes, he did something there. I think he did like a malaise or something like that. Basically it does like a chunk of damage and it also casts a crap ton of status effects. And now he is gone. So yeah, that's the basic gist of summoning. However, before he goes, he's going to do a huge AoE spell that I personally enjoy. Yes. Yes, blight the planet. And load. And load. There we go. 9,999. Awesome. And I'm back to my party members. Cool. So yeah, that's just a little taste of the gameplay itself. One of the other things I wanted to talk about quickly is the license board. So, unlike other games, the license board is identical for every single character, and it's not too dissimilar to the skill trees and stuff that you find in Final Fantasy X. Although in 10 it's quite a bit more spread out and there's big circular rings that you have to progress through and stuff. But one of the cool things about this is that I can essentially customize my character's equipment based on, essentially just based on their, however I want to spend my LP, really. So it's actually pretty cool. There's a bunch of different things that are essentially based on the quadrant that you are looking at. So, for example, all the magics are in this upper left quadrant here. All the accessories are in the upper right here. All the techniques are in the bottom right. As you can tell, I don't really use too many of them just because... Not that they're bad, but I just don't really need to use them that often. The one that's really fantastic is called telekinesis. It's this bad boy right here. I actually have not found the skill itself, but as you can see on the bottom, deal range damage with melee weapons. That's really helpful in the fights against aerial creatures, so that you don't have to switch to a weaker ranged weapon and you can do your maximum potential. Yeah, so the top half is basically passive abilities too. Underneath the magic, this whole big region right here, this is all passive abilities. So increases max HP, your potions will restore more. Remedy lore is one of the most important ones. That means your remedies can basically actually get rid of all status effects. There's 3 different remedy lores that are required if you want them to do that. The summons are also on the remedy, or on the license, the remedy board. What a schmuck. The licenses are also here for like summons and mischarges as well. See how there's these pictures of Vaughn up here? That basically means that I unlocked a quote-unquote mischarge space, which gives him quickenings, and quickenings are almost like the limit breaks in this game. They're distinctly more difficult to do, because in previous games, the limit breaks would like fill up with a gauge. In this game, limit breaks and summons both require mischarges, which is a bit of a pain in the butt. But that being said, it also kind of forces you to critically think about what is the better way to spend your MP. But yeah, so the license board, you basically can sort of determine however you want your character to go. Vaughn, as you can see, is mostly heavy armor, mostly swords and weapons. Most of my characters have the magic because it's important to get a lot of the... I think it's the... Yeah, the arcane magic. Decoy is a crucial spell, and you want all of your party members to be able to do it. The black magics are not as important, but they are really, really good. I actually haven't unlocked Scathe yet, which is silly on my part. I'll have to do a little bit of farming at some point. And then the ribbons, all the way up in the top right. Yes, the best accessory. So yeah, basically you can spend this LP, the license point, however you see, and you accrue said license points by just doing battles. Like in Final Fantasy VII, you would get AP to level up your materia. In this game, you get LP, which then you can, you know, freely spend how you see fit. I'm going to give this guy the Sagittarius just because I want him to have access to the really high-level bows, just to be safe. Yeah, so that's the general idea. I'm sure you can see by these sort of pictures here, a lot of my characters have similar stuff covered, but some of them don't, like Pinello in the bottom right here. She has a lot of the ranged weapons unlocked, whereas Fran really only has bows and Baltier only has guns. Pinello has almost all of them done. And most of my characters don't have any staff licenses unlocked, except for Ash and Pinello. And I genuinely, I don't really use them at all. And Pinello actually doesn't even have her 3rd mischarge, neither does Fran, which is kind of silly, and I don't have an excuse for that. But at some point I will finish up playing this game, farm a little bit more, or get some more of the stuff I need. But I just wanted to give you guys a little taste here. Final Fantasy XII, unfortunately overlooked, but it's such a fantastic game. It's really sort of like one of the first RPGs that introduced the MMO elements into just the typical RPG formula. So, as you can see, I mean, I didn't really have to tell my characters to do much. They kind of auto-attack, they do a lot of this stuff just based on the gambits. Which is a lot of fun to set up, a lot of fun to customize. And it's honestly shocking to see how many different combinations you can do, how many different ways you can customize your characters. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about this game, let me zoom in on Vaughn in a classy way while I do this. One of the things I really liked about this game is that every weapon class, every spell, everything has a certain amount of use to it. There's nothing in this game that is totally useless. There are some that are more interesting and more useful than others, but you basically will find a reason to explore just about every skill tree, all the black magic spells, all of the equipments and all that other stuff. But yeah, I don't want to drone on too much here. If anybody wants to see a Let's Play of this game, I would love to do that. I haven't played through this game in a while, and I've only beaten it once, so I think I'm overdue. But yeah, Final Fantasy XII, very cool game, worth checking out. Highly recommend that you guys give it a try. It's a ridiculous amount of fun, and it took me like 50 hours at least just to get, you know, where I am, and I still haven't done everything in the game, so plenty of time can be invested, and you'll get quite a nice benefit from doing so. Yeah, I don't need to waste any more of your time. So it's your old pal Tino, playing a retro game, an RPG that you should play. Highly recommended, Final Fantasy XII. Check it out! So I'll see you in the next episode. And thank you for watching. You are all awesome people. Catch you next time.